Next speaker is Jim Jacobi. He is the CEO of Parkland Communities. And real quick before we jump in your business, Build to Rent, I think there's an argument that with the lifestyle delays of people, getting married later. It used to be 100 years ago, the average male and female got married around like 21. Now it's 28, right? They go to school longer. When they have kids later in life. And when they do have kids, they have fewer kids. And when they buy a home, they buy a home later. If you saw the National Association of Realtors survey this week, the average first-time home buyer, according to their data, and it's survey, so you got to take it with a little bit of grain of salt, was 40 for 2025. And just 5-6 years ago, it was 33, 34, and in 1992, it was 28. And so what I'm kind of getting to there is that historically, the product for rental has been a lot of multifamily, a lot of apartments, and a lot of it in 20s. But now that there's this delays, like, do you believe, and what is kind of like your outlook, like, do you think it's creating more of this market for this build-to-rent product that maybe is kind of in the middle?
Yes. I think build-to-rent is still in infancy, and it is here to stay, and it's going to keep growing. There'll probably be some consolidation in the industry before long. You can see some companies buy out others. But I do not think it's a one-size-fits-all category. I was recently at another conference with some gentlemen. One guy said, well, we have to have all master on the mains. Another person said we have to have 2-car garages, and the next guy said, well, we have to have fenced-in backyards. And they got to me, and I said, well, I have none of that. And so it really gets down to who your buyer profile is. But our buyer profile is the exact person you just described. We focus on, I say our average tenant is 38 years old. Household income around $108,000 a year, and our product is 3 stories. So if you don't like stairs, you're not going to like our product. But we do just have 1-car garages, which I'm going to show our floor plans here in a little bit. But I do think that the build-to-rent works much better as your infill locations, not necessarily like in urban settings, just not way far out in the outer bands of development. And that's where we're having our most success, and that's where we're going to stay and continue to grow.
And hopefully the people up in the skies up there in the booth, they give us some images in a second, because I really want to show people your product. And right now, you've been building a lot the past several years in Georgia,
Correct.
Suburbs of Atlanta. And it looks like you're starting to look out further, and you've kind of looked into the Carolinas. What's kind of like your future plans, and why are you pushing into those markets?
Yeah, so for now, we build from Savannah to Atlanta and everywhere in between. We are definitely going to move into the Carolinas second half of next year. We'd like to set up an office in Charleston and create a coastal division. I just think that the Carolinas is going to be on a percent growth basis, will be the largest percent growth basis of the United States for the next foreseeable future, probably 10 years. I think there is definitely some truth to the halfbacks that's been termed. A lot of people have moved from New York to Florida. Florida has become not as attractive, and now they're moving halfway back to the Carolinas. And so we do think there's just going to be a large population growth, so we're going to focus a lot of our efforts on that second half of next year. One thing I do want to talk about, I do think the build-to-rent industry is moving towards more townhomes and high density as it starts to mature as a business. In my opinion, there may be some people who disagree in the room, but a true single-family detached home build-to-rent communities are really becoming extremely difficult to do, and I think you're going to see a whole lot less of those. And in my opinion, they don't really work financially for us. They work really good for large institutional players, but for private folks like me, that is a really difficult business model. I did one single-family build-to-rent deal. We did 150 homes. We recently sold it. I'll probably never do another one of those. We will focus from now on townhomes, and especially our stacked townhomes, which we've created a new product specifically for rentals. It is single plat, but we can get anywhere from 12 to 18 units an acre, depending on the zoning classification and municipality of what we can do. And our rents are really good, and it's done really well. It's designed specifically to look like a large, really expensive townhouse, But what you don't realize is there's 2 units inside that one townhouse unit. I did that on purpose so when we go through zonings, we can actually get it approved. That's probably the one thing that's going to probably hurt or hold back the build-to-rent business. It's going to be zonings. It's become very challenging to get new zonings now and build-to-rent. And
why is that? Is it kind of the politics of it?
yes, totally. You know, it's a lot of the local commissioners or city council members just don't want build-to-rent. A lot of municipalities have created zoning ordinances pretty much banning it and or limiting it. So it's become much more challenging to get that done now. So whereas in the COVID era, and really the build-to-rent boom, I say in the 21s, 22s, there was a lot of legacy deals that just didn't have the rental restrictions. And so people were converting something that was going to be for sale, well, let's go make it rent, and we can go do it that way. Well, those deals are gone. And so now you have to have new deals. Every deal we have is something we zone. So we will start 4 new projects first quarter next year. We have 14 more projects in the pipeline right behind that. So our growth is going to be really fast. And majority of which will be stacked townhomes as doing all of our rentals moving forward.
And that's your product, right?
Yes.
The townhomes.
Yes.
And it's kind of that between like an apartment and a full single family detached. Why is the economics better on these, do you believe?
Well, so there's our floor plan there. So the beautiful thing about it is that, one, my lot cost just got divided by half. And if anybody's in the room, I mean, this one, floor plans are copyrighted, but hopefully you get some good ideas. I'm going to sit back and just get out of your way. But the whole objective is my framing is divided by 2, my foundation, my roof, my exterior architectural fenestration is all divided by 2 instead of 1. My lot cost is divided by 2. So you have to play the cost, playing the cost game. And I came up with these floor plans during the COVID when costs were going through the roof, and I had to figure out a way to control our cost. Essentially, the yellow unit is a three-bedroom unit, and the blue unit you see is a 2-bedroom unit. And but the beautiful thing is nobody lives above or below anybody else. You kind of live side by side. And the real secret sauce was that we racked our stairs right down our center wall. And so then stairs act as a noise baffle between our 2 units. So you can't hear. You can have a dinner party going on up here in the blue, and you can have 2 kids sleeping here, but you can't hear between that wall. And then there's a 2-hour firewall is on the sides. There's a 1-hour firewall where you see the yellow and blue meet each other. So that's the most challenging issue we encounter is really dealing with local building officials and inspectors. The problem with building code has become so complex and complicated that nobody, it's now down to like just interpretation. And everybody interprets it a different way. So every time we go to a new municipality and we deal with a new staff, permitting, the first building takes us about 4 to 5 months to permit our first building, and then we go, but they all make us do something different. So we haven't found a universal fit yet. Good news is that the building code is changing in January, which is actually going to help us a little bit, hopefully. But the whole deal is on cost. These units here cost me about, my cost averaged out is about 150 grand a unit. If you average between interior units, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, so if I got a building, let's say 8-pack, which really means you have 16 units in it, roughly 150 grand a unit to build it. Then the only variable you're going to have in that cost is your local municipalities' permit fees, utility fees will be your biggest variance in those costs. But that so essentially that gets us down to about $75 a foot. That does include your refrigerator. It includes your washer and dryer, because we provide all appliances. We provide everything in our homes. And by the way, these are not, we don't do low builder grade. Everything is granite, quartz countertops, LVP. We have no carpet anywhere in all the homes. The 3-bedroom unit is 1,950 square feet. The 2-bedroom unit is 1,600 square feet. So they live big and feel big. They each have a 1-car garage plus your driveway. And the way we orient these buildings is that they're all fronting on some sort of open space, which I think we have a couple slides. Just shows a couple of our communities, just a quick sample of what we're doing. But so you can kind of see a little bit of how we arrange these products. So what we like to do is, this is something we figured out really by accident, is by fronting all of our homes on as much green space as possible, it forced interaction between residents. I think the biggest miss that most build-to-rent people miss is not really designing and land planning intentionally for community and creating community. And when you build around community, it just doesn't mean I'm going to throw a random dog park in the back or playground over here. You have to be intentional about it, and that intentionality will create results. Right now, we're running about an 87% renewal rate across all of our communities. But it's, I think, a lot because of, I hate to say it was purely by accident, but the homes all front each other over town greens. And so people get out, and it forces interaction. Now it becomes their friends, and they can congregate.
And how does the math on those townhomes compare to if you were to do multi or if you were to do single family?
I think I'm building for about 50% of what multi is. And that's my biggest competition is multifamily. I do not think I'm competition for new homes. I think that's a big misnomer in the market. That a big sentiment, I should say, is a lot of people feel that build to rent is taking away opportunity of home ownership. And I completely disagree with that. I really feel like my competition is, if somebody wants to go buy a house, they're going to buy a house. All right? They're going to find a house and they can buy it. But my biggest competition is apartments. But meanwhile, I love apartments. I would rather my community right in the middle of 5 apartment complexes, because I'm going to take the residents, because we just have a better quality product, better lifestyle, and so it just offers a better life in general.
And with this product, and it looks great, these townhomes look really sharp. Do you think you're going to get copied? Like, there's a lot of like these cottages and the single family product, and a lot of it kind of falls closer to the cottage type.
Right.
Do you think this is going to spread?
Yeah. Look, what is it? Imitation is the flattery at the end of the day. So it may. They're really complicated. The hardest part of the complicated to build is the HVAC. The HVACs can't cross the party walls. So that was really complicated, but they may. But to be honest with you, the industry really needs it. And that's why I showed the floor plans, because this is where it goes. For example, if I have the single family homes community of 4 units an acre, just doesn't generate enough revenue. Whereas these, if I'm 18 units an acre, my revenue is so high, so it drops my OpEx down, creates a huge NOI and value of the deal. And most importantly, it's easier to underwrite. So for example, all of my financing right now, currently, for the last 3 deals we just recently financed, we use local community banks because we're showing such good value. So we've got, the last 3 deals we just did has been SOFR plus 250. I did a 0.6 origination fee, and there's no exit fee. What I do push is for a 4-year term plus a 1-year extension right. I do sign a personal guarantee, but I'm fine with signing a personal guarantee because what we're doing is I'm not building to sell my stuff immediately. I'm not building a third party. What we are doing is my intent is to take it all to Fannie and or Freddie, and but everything is for sale every day at the right price. So, but with that, the terms really help add value to the deal as well.
And so you're kind of close to like the epicenter of like build to rent, right? It's like Phoenix, it's Atlanta, and there was a lot of product that came into the market the past couple years, right? But if you look at like some of the permits and some of the deals that have gotten done, it looks like we're going to roll over a bit. What's kind of like the environment been for deliveries in your market recently and now? And then do you think that's going to improve as less of that product comes in 26, 27?
Yes, there's been a flood of product and inventory hitting the market, and it is causing us a little slower rate of absorptions that we're seeing. We're not leasing as fast. We are still leasing probably faster than others, but we're just not, it's taking a little longer to get the stabilization.
And what's happened to rents?
I would say our rents have come down marginally, but we don't really drop rents. We don't offer much incentives. We offer lifestyle, so we're selling a different lifestyle than most of the other communities. For example, we recently did a competitive market analysis. We have one of our communities is surrounded by, or we have 3 competing traditional townhouse communities around us. And for the last 3 months, those 3 competing townhouse communities only leased 14 homes, all 3 of them, in 3 months combined, whereas in 3 months, we did 27 leases at higher rates than my competitors. So it just proves that you've really got to start looking at lifestyle and the style of the community and the quality of the construction.
And so do you think that the market will improve as you kind of get into that window where there is fewer deliveries for this?
Yeah, we are looking forward to 2027.
And how would you compare the market in the Carolinas that you're going versus, Atlanta, these parts of Georgia that you're at, where there is a lot of the build-to-rent product?
Well, again, we're going to be focused on infill, but I think just the Carolinas, the percent growth, the growth
Yeah.
that's going on in the Carolinas is really kind of an example of some of our communities. You can kind of see how we intentionally front them all on green spaces, is where we try to front all of our units, and everything's interconnected with sidewalks, so as you can walk everywhere you want around the community. And but one thing we're chasing is just population growth and job growth is what we're chasing, trying to solve for an infill location.
So you're less of like trying to find like the tightest markets right now, or where there's the most upward pressure on prices or rents, and you're kind of like zooming out, and you're like, we want to go where the growth is. We want to go where the people are coming, where the population growth is coming.
That's exactly
and
right.
On that upward swing.
Exactly, that's right. And it even gets down to, the suburb where we want to be around Atlanta. So that, where do people want to live? And exactly.
And so this product here, this townhome, is it easier to get this approved with local governments versus like the more actual single family build to rent? Or is there still resistance for this
There's
too?
still resistance because we just have a lot of density, and so most municipalities are still very apprehensive on the density. You have to find the municipalities that want growth and have got the growth and need the workforce housing. Now. Yeah, so that's what we concentrate on too, is finding those municipalities who are looking forward to growth, and we go there.
And so there was a lot of fear this year coming into it with, the talk of the tariffs and the talk of policy changes to immigration, and there was speculation with both material cost and also labor cost. And with material cost and labor cost, what are you actually seeing on the ground?
Well, that's a great question. So I would say this year, since the tariff blow up, our costs have come down about 5%, depending on what material it is, from lumber to every aspect that comes into it. The only two things that are really going up on us is granite. That's all comes with most of the granite and quartz comes from China, and then plumbing fixtures. A lot of the faucets, all the plumbing fixtures come in from China.
And when you say go up, like what percent?
Oh, not much, less than 5 we've seen on that. Overall, our costs have come down. One thing, lumber has definitely come down substantially. One switch we did is we stopped using spruce for our entire house. We started in January, we did a switch in January. We started using southern yellow pine for all of our roof trusses and floor trusses. All of our trusses are now southern yellow pine. The only thing we're using spruce for is our walls.
In southern yellow pine, most of that comes from the south.
South, that's
yeah.
right, exactly.
And so what's kind of like the percent decrease that you've seen on your material cost?
I would say right about 5% if we had on vertical cost. The one cost that hasn't come down yet is land development cost. Land development cost, but that I think is about to change. I think you're going to start getting some relief in land development cost starting in January. We have these 4 new deals we're going to break ground on the first quarter next year, and we are going to rebid them all in December and go back out. In fact, we're going to take the position where we're going to go back to all of our folks that bid on and say, this is the numbers we need it at. If you can make it happen, we'd like to work with you. And we're going to start setting our own price. And because there's going to be a lot of idle iron sitting on yards that needs to be moving. And because the one thing that's happening right now that the topic nobody's really talking about is the fact that there's just no zonings going on. Gwinnett County in Atlanta, which is the largest county by growth. It's 1 million people, and it's always by the numbers, it's growth, not on percent, just because it's so big. But 12 months ago, Gwinnett County had so many residential hearings, they had to do 2 nights a week, two nights of hearings instead of 1 night. Now, Gwinnett County, year to date, has only zoned 750 units, but yet they've issued 1,500 building permits. But so there's an epic drop-off in new zoning coming forward. So I think, although we're in some turbulence right now in the market where they're for sale, there is going to be a lot shortage, believe it or not, I think, coming up in 2 years. Because by the time I put something under contract, I know everybody's different around the country, but by the time I put something under contract, the time I have fully developed lots, it takes me about 2 years to go through zoning, permitting, land development, final plat, maybe even longer, depending on municipality. It could be some municipalities, it could take me 3-4 years to get it all done, just because of time. But when you look at the timeline that it takes to bring new deals on, and the fact that there's nothing happening right now, That's why we're really gung ho. That's why I have 14 deals in my pipeline. I'm going after land aggressively. All the nationals have quit really pursuing new land deals, or at least not near as aggressive as they were. That, in my opinion, it creates opportunity. I have to work counter-cyclical to nationals. If they slow down, I'm going to hit the gas pedal. So we're going after land, and we are locking up some fantastic land opportunities right now.
And because you're optimistic and kind of even bullish, because as there's fewer deliveries coming 26, 27, you think that firms up the market, creates opportunity for those who actually went forward.
It absolutely does, because we just showed that was it Lennar it has their highest sales that they've had. The biggest difference between today and the Great Recession, which I had a home building company then, it was really hard times. You couldn't hardly sell a house. You just weren't moving inventory. You're moving inventory. The nationals are grinding through inventory. They are moving, but what they're doing is they're grinding through lots, and they're eating up that lot inventory. And so that, I think, is going to be the next big topic we're going to start talking about in 18 to 24 months is the lack of lots.
And so circling back to material cost, during the pandemic period when there's ultra low rates and so much money just everywhere, there was a lot of deals done for multifamily, right? And so it took a while for those to actually deliver. In 2024, saw the most multifamily completions since Richard Nixon was president in 1974. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of supply coming in. But we're now on like the backside of that, and there's fewer of that multifamily coming out. Permits for multifamily rolled over a while ago. And so do you think that less of that activity for multi and some of these pockets of the country kind of pulling back a little bit for single family starts, like in the Floridas and Texas, do you think that is what's creating this bit of a relief on the material cost?
Oh, definitely. It's demand for materials in general has come down. Apartment construction has dropped off. All the national builders are pulling back on their starts. That's exactly right. There's lumber stacking in the lumber yards, and it's got to move.
And is that creating any softening to labor? What are you seeing there?
A little bit, yes. We're starting to see some softening of labor now. Definitely. I would say within the last 90 days, labor started to come down without question.
And we're still talking like very low single digits.
That's right, very low, but yet it's still meaningful. So anything we can get is meaningful, and we're going to start a whole bunch of houses next year. So we're optimistic on this, how that's going to help our business.
Well, give it up for Jim. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you. All right.